Hey everyone, Kyle once again, and welcome back to the next episode review of Yashahime, Princess Half Demon, and now I'm reviewing episode 21 now, Secret of the Rainbow Pearls. And we finally got how this, all seven of the Rainbow Pearls, the origin, how they were created, which they explained through dialogue in another episode back when, so... But we see him actually being created. And I gotta say, this is another really great episode, you know. Like I said, except for episode 19, though, but before that was one after another, right? And then episode 19, then it kept on going with episode 20 with the return of Shiori. Really great episode. And this is picking up and going. And this one was just another really great one. I keep saying see more great episodes, and it's hard for me to tell which one is my favorite episode now. So, but this is another really good one. Because now we see that how the Rainbow Pearls came to be, but this one was more about about Riku. For what I see is more. This is more about Riku, and Riku, we see more of his backstory a bit more, and we see him talking with Toa. He's kind of like opens up a little bit when talking to Toa, and we see him being a badass. And it goes to the point I've more of this I've been getting to like more of Riku, you know. So like I said before, every time I hear the name Riku, it just makes me reminds of Kingdom Hearts, you know. So, but I've been liking Riku for because he's a guy who's been like a little bit sneaky and keep pretty much hush to himself about what his plans are. Well, except when he told Jubei, a while back when. And but here, this is more. I've been liking more of his character now because how he opens up more when he's talking with Toa. So I just been really liking his character. So. But more of that I'll get to it though. But get into the episode now. Just we see on Lord Kirimo's his ship. Riku is there, and this is obviously a flashback because two of the perils are alive. You see return of QB. I would say it's Kyuki and Lord Konton. So, because this is obviously a flashback because they're alive here. So, Kyuki and Konton and Lady Zero is is Kirimaru. And this in the flashback were a time when Inuyasha and Sesshomaru's father, Toga, is alive, but they're saying that he has been injured, he's weak now, so they pretty much find it's an advantage for them to take. Since to destroy him, whatever, and since he's very weak now, so this is the right opportunity to take him out, and really enough, we see the return of the Shikon Jewel. It was because this is the time when Toga was alive, so we see this time the Shikon Jewel is in Kirimaru's possession, and also they're explaining that how Toga was injured from battling Shiskin Ninki and Ryototse. Now Ryototse, if I remember, it was which shortly after this takes place. I like that this takes place in the time of the third movie because you see that Inuyasha's mother, the mansion is being burned down when Toga was fighting Ryotose, and when the whole thing was on fire, when he perished. So I like this episode ties in with the beginning of Inuyasha, the movie 3, the Honorable Sword, or it was the Honorable Sword or whatever. So I like how it ties into the beginning of that movie. So that's another positive I liked about it. Trying to keep it within the continuity of the movies. But I was saying, Ryototse, so... And we see, let's say, the Shikon Jewel is there, and... I say Kyuki and and Konton, which, like I said before about Konton, how he was defeated though, but it kind of sucked for me though. Because I liked him. But they said it's the right time for him to take him out when he's down, when he's weak and injured. And this is one thing I liked about Kirimoru, because he doesn't want to do that. He wants to be how it shows this guy has honor in him, because if he wants to face him, he wants to face him when he's strongest. When he's not weak or anything. He wants to face him when he's strong, be at his best, strongest at his best, right? So, say if he challenges him, it's like it's nothing, So yeah, it's a win without honor, but he wants to do it with honor. So I do. That's the thing I thought was interesting, and what I liked about Lord Kirimoru. He wants to be. He's an honorable person. Say honorable because he's an honorable person, because he wants to fight them at their best, not when they're down. They say when how they say not to kick people when they're down. He doesn't want to do that, so he wants to fight him at his best though. So, and so he summons Riku, which we see a little from Kyuki and Konton, because they don't like him. And the thing about once again what Kirimoru, because he wants Riku to find the best of the medical herbs, to give to Toga, to heal him, so that when he's up, in battle, so that we can fight him again. So that's one other thing about Kirimoru, and he tells him Riku to hurry. And one thing about he still has that earring that he has on him, so. This is before how the origins of the rainbow pearls came to be. So the whole time I thought was that was the blue pearl he had the whole time, but it turns out it's not. So we don't know what this thing is that he has as an earring. When he flicks it, gives him teleportation, which he used to teleport out of there. So and other things, like he used to make gold appear out of his hands, in front of Jubei, So. But evidently, that wasn't a blue pearl. And then once again, with Kirimoru telling Konton and Kyuki, saying, winning with underhanded tactics will only leave you empty. So, but what was understood, because with Kyuki, she wanted to portray Lord Kirimoru, and with Konton, because we know how Konton was, how he was a very shady and let alone a sneaky, a-hole is what he was, what he did with those rats, and then breaks the key, and then, or anything he does with he deems distasteful, like how he destroyed that fortress to improve the view of a tree, so. How utterly distasteful. Yeah, it's too bad, because I like Konton. So yeah, that's what she tells him about that. And then, but we see that with Zero, she has her doubts about about Kirimoru saying when will he learn to compromise? Because if it wasn't how the way he is right now, he would have been ruining the land basically. And then we see the mansion burning down, and Riku saying, "Oh, he didn't make it. The dog demon's dead." So that's basically tying into the beginning of the third movie. And then we see Riku talking with Lady Zero, and once again looking at the Shikon jewel. So the James are supposed to live forever, and wanted to, or whatever she's saying that about the prophecy being true, about Lord Kirimoru and all that. And then she starts crying, and we see a little bit about with Riku that in this time the difference how he is right now compared to how he is when the time he's with when he was actually with our trio, especially with Toa. Basically, he has no emotion or in him, because he's saying that when she sees that she's crying, he says, "Wow, what's that? It looks pretty. What's that coming from your eyes? It's pretty." So basically, he doesn't fully understand what human or people or emotions are, or anything around him at the most part. And and he says it's in such poor taste. That's what he says. That's what he said earlier. Oh, it's poor taste. And she tries like, use your head for once, and then he's like moving his head around like, oh, my head. So basically, which we find out later, which he is affiliated with Lord Kirimaru, but we said he's not is he his son or not? He's not his son, but he says that's how later toward the end of this episode. So, but Lady Zero, she says she doesn't want she doesn't need her demon powers or doesn't want the grief, so she doesn't want to cry again. So she makes her wish on the Shikon jewel, granting her wish, and we see her tears drop down on the Shikon jewel. Hence, when the rainbow pearls were created, because like an episode a while back, what Riku said that how they were originally formed from the tears of Lady Zero. And we see it right now. All 7 of the pearls were created from her tears, including the blue pearl, which confirms that whatever the Eerie has in his earring wasn't the blue pearl the whole time. So, okay. So we were wrong the whole time. That wasn't the blue pearl he had the whole time we flicked it. And then she says that she is well, it says that they contain the power. They contain her powers along with the power of the Shikon jewel, which kind of brings it like, oh, they don't share that much same the power as the Shikon jewel though, but it has demonic power to them. But more on that than less on the Shikon jewel. And then she says, she is no longer a demon. So that means if she's no longer a demon, that means she made herself be human. Which I'm kind of sketchy on that. If she's no longer a demon and she made herself human, which means she made herself human without any demon powers at all, and yet 200, which that was 200 years, which that what Riku said, this was 200 years ago, and yet she still looks pretty much the same. So either she has ability to not age, but yet still living as a human. Who knows on that though. But then he said, "Are you sad?" And it's like, "Are you not sad?" And he's like, "About what?" So, and then it cuts to back with Riku now saying that was 200 years ago, and he has the three of the pearls that's with him, and she wants to like, let's say he wants to gather all 7 for himself. So now we cut back to Kaede's village, where Sessa is telling that you're not going anywhere tonight, so like he says, be good as Kilala is. Which that was funny, being good as Kilala is. So it's the new moon. Toa is now human for the night. And Kaede tells Toa that Toa reminds her of Rin. Or reminds her of her mother, and I said before that in my video talking about the preview that I thought it was Riku might explain that, well, maybe he wasn't around them, but about how we get to know that Toa might know who her mother is, but I was almost right in that aspect though, because this time it's Kaede who tells that Rin is her mother, not Riku. So like I said, I was kind of stretching that out about that theory, because since they were standing in front of the Tree of Ages, maybe he knew something about that. But that's not the case though. It's Kaede who tells Toa about who her mother is, and that is Rin. So they're saying that she was much like her, being a very kind person. But it tells that how what happened with Rin, somewhat what happened to Rin, because she says that shortly after when she gave birth to Toa and Setsuna, she just disappeared all of a sudden. So we don't know what happened to her, but somehow she ended up disappearing during that time, and then ended up in the Tree of Ages. So we still don't know how that happened though, but we still get a little bit of what happened right after that though, just a little bit. And Toa's asking, is she dead? And he says maybe, and Kaya says maybe so. And when Toa says like, oh, you're so cold to say that. Well, it's kind of the same thing as though, because Kaede's always being so blunt on everything, you know, it's like dialogue says, you know, it's how it is today, you know, she's all too familiar with life and death. Which, yeah, because she all knows all too well that stuff happens over the years, so what's the use of basically sugarcoating it? So she's the one who sugarcoats that stuff. So... But yeah, it's nice to know that Kaede finally tells that Rin is Toa and Setsuna's mother. And then she has that same dream that she had when she had previously, like during like the dream gazing trap. She sees the dream butterfly taking Toa's Setsuna's memories, going into the Tree of Ages, and this time, when she sees the girl in the tree, Rin. She says that, could this person be our mother? So I do like that she kind of starts acknowledging that the girl inside the Tree of Ages, the dream butterfly is given to, that is her mother. So I do finally like that establishment now. That she learned that she's learned that Rin is her mother. And then the dream butterfly flies by. She sees the dream butterfly. She goes after it. And then the butterfly goes inside the Tree of Ages. Although I kind of find it kind of wonky, where she really she's chasing the dream butterfly. It goes into the Tree of Ages, and she says she lost sight of it. I mean, it's the kind of thing that she sees in her vision. It goes inside the Tree of Ages. So if she says she lost sight of it, couldn't she not have seen it go inside the Tree of Ages? I find that kind of a little bit wonky right there, though. But that's a nitpick. And then we cut to Tetsu, you know, saying that, and I like that, you know, that he knows about Toa's human state thanks to Konton. So I guess Konton told Tetsu about this because remember, in 12, Konton saw that in his flame-o-vision, you know, seeing it through the flames he was watching. And I was like, well, now, isn't that fascinating? Or, you know, so half demons have a phase called the new moon, huh? Huh, I see. So I guess he told Tetsu about that. So which I'm finally, even though personally I think Konton should have done it himself, taken that advantage for himself though with Toa. But at least know like basically he told Tetsu about the new moon and Toa's human state. So at least I like that part there. But part of me is like he should have taken that advantage for himself basically. If anyone agrees with me on that though, because I like Konton, This is too bad how he was defeated, you know. It kind of sort of rubbed me the wrong way. But yeah, at least Tetsu knows about it thanks to Konton. So he's on his way to get Toa, and then Toa sees those fireflies. Riku shows up and knows about sees about her human state and saying how she looks so beautiful. And saying that, oh, her eye looks beautiful more in particular. So now she tells her about the rainbow pearl, with the silver pearl that she has. And also finds basically, it looks a little, and I forgot to say that Toa, how she looks in her human form, like her longer black hair, I think she looks a little bit better than she did in episode 12. I think just the way she looks now, I think she looks a little bit better, the way her hair is, and, well, it looks a little bit better. I got more I can say about it. So they're both sharing some tea, and I like how Riku oh, this is so delicious, you know, because Riku hasn't had anything that's like more modern, you know, like a modern tea, and or back when she first met her, like, oh, this apple was delicious and all that. So he acknowledges how tasty more modern stuff tastes like, which kind of brings me I wish that, you know, maybe he could end up in the future. Like how with Kagome with Inuyasha, him trying to adjust into the modern day world. I don't know. Maybe it's an idea. Maybe Toa can show him around stuff. You know how the world has changed in 500 years. So, but I'm just stretching that out. But I was like, okay, maybe that'll be nice to see because Inuyasha trying to adjust into the future. Maybe the same thing with Riku because he finds the foods and drinks so delicious to him, very tasty. So, and then he's talking to Toa, and I see him open up a little. Would like to see that he opens up a little bit more to Toa, and saying that how you talk about the madame that took care of him. I'm guessing Lady Zero. I'm guessing, and saying that they're looking at the sky. Saying that his master looking at the stars too, and then it transitions from him to Kirimaru. Saying that his master Toa saying that your master sounds like a romanticist. And how they like the same thing. So, anyways, they say Riku saying that how we both are we both want the same thing, and she's asking what the same thing, and she goes and says he finally tells her he wants the rainbow pearls. So yeah, he finally tells Toa that he wants the rainbow pearls, and he shows her that he has the 3 of them, and that he wants to gather them all. Now, the thing is that we do not know how all the pearls, when they're gathered, we don't know what happens. And like how when Toa says what happens when they're all gathered, and Riku says, "Who knows?" He says, "Who knows?" And of course, it could give more strength, increased powers, which gives powers to demons, kind of like the Shikon jewel. Or he says, it could perhaps be a devastating degenerate age could begin. So yeah, I try stop myself from stuttering my word there. Degenerate age, which I've heard that degenerate. I think I heard somewhere in the beginning of the series, and I thought I heard a little bit earlier somewhere in the original show. Degenerate age. I have to swim back on that though, but I know I've heard that somewhere earlier in this series, and I think a little bit in the Inuyasha series. But then he tells that he wants the rainbow pearls, and he tells that he's after. Toa's like, so you means you're after mine, Sesame's and Moroha's pearls as well? And I like what Riku, he kind of smiles oh, you got me there, basically. Yeah, you got me. You figured me out. But and then he says, that tells Toa's if you keep calm, I can remove it without hurting you. But then they get interrupted by Tetsu, who says, "Oh, he turns up out of the blue." And Toa's that reaction face, "Well, was that a joke?" And then Riku just gives that sour look he has. And Totetsu kind of trash talks Riku, and then he starts attacking him, and this is where we get Riku being a bit of a badass. He uses his ring, just materializes a sword in his hands, and fights Totetsu. Seeing he has a kind of the same even strength that Totetsu has now, given his size though, but enough strength to hold Totetsu on his own, sword battle wise. So he's wondering Totetsu's wondering what you taste like. Wonder if you taste the same as Lord Kirimaru. Even Toa questions that as well, and he tries sucking him in, and then Riku uses his earring and just automatically just materializes these poisonous bees, kind of similar to the Samyosho. Riku Naraku's poison insects, the Samyosho. Kind of nods that, and he forced himself to jam himself in his mouth and jams his mouth shut to swallow the bees. Riku is being a bit of we finally see him being a badass, which I'm liking this guy, Well, despite his motives for the rainbow pearls, but we see him, being a badass, and Totetsu starts going crazy, swinging the sword around, and Riku saves Toa. And then Tetsu spits the bees right back, and then he shields Toa, and he takes the brunt of the force of the bees. He gets stabbed in the back a lot of times, and Toa gets him out of there, and he's bleeding a lot, and finally Toa is asking the question that who is Kirimaru to you, and he said he used to be his master. So yeah, and he only got to survive because of the Madame took care of him, which I think it's pretty much it's Lady Zero maybe, yeah. And yeah, he's bleeding out, and he's asking why is he help why did he save Toa, why is he helping him? He's like, he doesn't understand it himself, basically. Why, he said, there's no reason to protect you. And like what he said before, he only kills the people that he loves, though, but since he doesn't know what love is, and we see, like I said, he says understanding love is far beyond a doll like me. So we knew he's like kind of like affiliated with Lord Kirimo, but it turns out he is a doll, basically, or puppet. What do you say? Oh, by the way, you hear some in the background. My parents are talking to one of my neighbors, so sorry about that if you hear what's in the background. But yeah, so now we see that Riku is a doll, basically. Hence why, in the beginning of this episode, why he was barely showing like any emotion, like, huh? My head? So yeah, but he's basically is a doll. Hence why he hasn't aged a lot, basically from the time, like, during the time in the beginning of this episode, or the time when he was talking to Kagome, about Kirimaru, about him and his killing her child and her, right? So that's hence why he hasn't aged at all in all those years. So he's basically like a doll. I don't know if he's like a clone of Kirimaru, but he's like a doll because hence why he has the same colored hair and same colored eyes as Kirimaru does. Yeah, so that's basically what he is though. I thought he's not like a demon. If he's a doll, he's not fully like a demon though, but he has like the theory that gives him the powers though. So. But then they run away because Totetsu shows up again, swinging his sword around, and getting materializes his sword again, and Totetsu saying, you castaway puppet, like I said, doll or puppet, you still betray us. And then he says that Lady Zero, Kirimaru, and I will never forgive you for your actions. Well, Totetsu and Kirimaru, yes, but brings up Lady Zero, though, because if he says that Madame was the one who took care of him, though, he must have did something to probably upset Lady Zero as well. Because otherwise, why you bring up all three of them, right? Him, Totetsu, Kirimaru, and Lady Zero. So he says, never forgive you for your actions. So he must have did something to get Lady Zero mad. But Kirimaru and Totetsu, yeah, but we have to know why he got... He must have did something probably with either the Rainbow Pearls or the Shikon Jewel to get her mad. I don't know. We'll have to find that out later, so... So then, and then so they're going to fight each other again, and all of a sudden, the Scourge of Swallows and the Crimson Dragon Wave show up. They collide with each other. They knock each other back, and then the sun, of course, then the sun rises up. Toa becomes her half demon self again, and then Totetsu, he was gonna get away. Well, he wasn't gonna get away. He was gonna swallow. He says swallow at once. He was gonna do it from a safe distance, laughing to himself. And then all of a sudden, which I was surprised. I was like, oh I was like, basically, I was like this. Oh shit! Basically, that Riku decapitated Totetsu. I was like, oh shit! That was badass. See, that's something like that. I wish Something like that, I wish a defeat like that would have happened to Konton, basically. Like this, I would accept for Totetsu how he was defeated. That I would say was not half-assed at all. Riku, what he did was badass. But like I said, how I felt about Konton, I felt that was half-assed, basically how he was defeated. That's just how I feel about like Kyuki. I felt her defeat was rushed though, but Riku did that himself though as well. He disintegrated her though, but but that was understandable for me more because Riku did it himself. But what happened with Lord Konton, I felt that his death was half-assed. disappointed, half-assed, basically. But here, with Tetsu, I liked. Because Riku, basically, he fought Tetsu like a badass, holding on his own, and all of a sudden, think that Tetsu was like gonna swallow him up from a distance, keep him distance. All of a sudden, bam, the sword comes out, decapitates him. I thought that was badass. I thought he was, how Tetsu got taken out, that was not half-assed. That was a badass move, especially for Riku. Then he says he picks up his Totetsu's orange pearl. He's saying, "I only kill the ones that I love, but however, I'll have to make an exception for you." Given him that mean look in his eyes. That's and Moroha's reaction was like, "Oh." So then he goes and gives Toa a hug, thanking her. But then Setsuna is saying that, telling her to get away from her, you have the same scent as Kirimoru. Which, yes, like I said, how they're affiliated with each other. Not his son, though, but like I said, he's a doll / puppet, basically. So, he would tell about to go away, but Toa follows him, saying, "You don't know what love is, though, but Toa likes Riku," saying that he likes her. Oh, she likes him. And then I can just imagine. Before making this, I've been reading all the comments saying, "Oh, this is saying how stupid and dumb on Toa on this part." Yes, she willingly gives her silver pearl to Riku. Yes. And I've been reading the comments like, "Oh, Toa is so." I wish the way people are so. This is another reason why people are hating Toa, because like she's the least favorite of the trio. Like, how am I? Of course, I like Toa though, but as I rank my trio, as probably a lot of people, I'm sure a lot of people, their favorite of the trio is definitely Moroha. Well, for me, I like her because I know she's the comic relief, and now we got more depth of her story in episode 16, though, but because she's the daughter of Kagome and Inuyasha, though, but not only that, but her personality herself kind of, like, reflects on Inuyasha more. But I always liked her as easily of the trio. Setsuna, her own way, I liked her too, in her own way. But everyone's been, like, giving Toa so much hate. I say that she's the least of the trio, and then how he hated her because how she is, like how being her being so concerned or kind and naive and all that. People just been so much hating on her so much. I don't understand why she gets so much hate because of the way she is. Now, I'm probably sure people are going to hate her more because of how she's all of a sudden just saying, "Oh, she's a dumbass," and she just goes and throws it away and gives it to Riku. I just understand the tremendous hate that she's getting. I just don't get it. Yes, I get it's understandable why it's understandable why people are saying, "Oh, she's so stupid, just giving away." See that? Getting myself all worked up on other people's thoughts and maybe knocking my old glasses off. Frick. I just, like I said, understandable though, but to me, I cannot hate. Yes, it's understandable why people say, "Oh, she's so dumb on doing that." Yes, because of how she is. Okay, but to me, I like Toa. I don't get how much is it just the hate for her anyway. I don't get it. But yes, maybe because she did it because he wanted to do it just for his mission. How he wanted to do because taking her with the complete his mission probably for his referring to Lady Zero maybe, so that's what she says. But what he says, yeah, when she says, "Give my regards to the madame of yours." So, and I like it. Even Riku, he was really surprised or shocked that she gave it to him, and he's like, "What a tremendous tasteful thing that for you did." So, she also says that can you overlook Setsuna Moroha's pearls? Which he didn't give an answer. He didn't give an answer. Then saying that you're a strange girl, so he's not going to overlook that, because he wants all the pearls. He wants to get all the pearls, so he's going to go after. Regardless what she says about that, she's going to go after Tetsu and Moroha's pearls regardless. Even when she says that, but he's not going to do that. And it says, and she says, you're strange too, saying that he's an imitation at best. Yes, he is. But even Toa says, even though her barely being half demon herself, and she says, you're just you. Basically, you're just being you. And so, and she says, you're just too kind. So then he leaves saying, we'll meet each other again. And then, and of course, back with Moroha, say, oh, this is nice, so I wonder if we could take his head. But, and also surprised that when she starts kicking his head, Tetsu is still alive, even being decapitated. She starts attacking her. Which I kind of like. You're like, oh, his head is still alive. Tries to attack her, but then Moroha punches. It's like, he's saying, I'll eat you. But then it's like, how can you do that when you don't have a belly? That was funny. And he gives another punch, and it's like, oh, how will they act like, oh, they're like the little spirit leaves, they'll image of them as a spirit leaving them. so he's gonna take that. He's gonna take his head to Jubei, probably get it more of a paid on. Even Setsum's like, are you sure that was wise for you to do that? And even Toa says, even without the pearl, she still has demon power to power up her blade, basically. So, and Toa saying, I just want to give it back to the rightful owners. But even but then Moroha says, wasn't Mr. Riku working with Kirimaru? And I like when all of a sudden Toa just like gives that big reaction face, like, ah! I gotta admit, that reaction there, I thought that was funny too. I was like, ah! I thought that was funny too, but it's like, oh no! I was like, oh wait a minute, also I just changed my mind, give it back please! So, yeah, that's one thing that people hate are probably hating on Toa more because of what she did, and all of a sudden, oh no, please give it back now. Being that's another term for her, being wishy-washy. That's another thing probably people are not liking her on. God, friggin' 37 minutes. God dang. This is the longest I reviewed it. This is the longest I've ever reviewed on an episode of Yashahime. God damn. Probably because this episode had so much lot going for it. It had a whole bunch of things. Man. But hey, it's worth it because this episode was really great. So hey, this is the longest review I have reviewed on an episode. So because like I said, there was a lot going for it. Another great episode, I was saying. Like I said, what we see this episode was more focused on Riku with the moron. We see a little bit of his backstory. Him opening up more, talking with Toa, opening up a bit more, and then we see him using his powers more, and seeing how he's able to hold his own in a fight, and at the same time being a badass, especially fighting against Totetsu. How he's able to hold his own in his own strength, and then the badass just decapitated Totetsu's head just like a badass, which, like I said, that's the way I like to see. But like I said, with Konton, that was disappointed, let alone a half-assed way for him to go down like that. But with Totetsu, that I accept. That was because Riku was a badass when he did that. So I give a pass on that, though. And so the funny, the humor, with how Totetsu's head was still alive, oh, I want to eat you. That was funny as well. And as like I said, everybody is probably gonna hate on Toa how the way she did it, and all of a sudden she changed her mind. Oh, please give it back. I can already see people are already hating on her already. But like I said, I never hated Toa. I always liked Toa on her own merits. Yes, because how she is, because how the way she was raised in the future by Kagome's younger brother Sota. How the way she was taught when we were living in the future. That's a reason why it's understandable for me, because she's kind, how the way she was raised to be kind and all that, and that's why what Kaede said that that she reminds her of her mother, Rin. So I cannot. Yes, I understand it's probably overall. Yeah, it probably was a dumb thing how she willingly just gave threw her pearl away to Riku. Yes, but at the same time, I just cannot hate. I don't hate Toa for that. I just don't understand why. Even with that, even before this whole thing when she threw away the pearl, people's already hating on her just because how the way she is. I don't get the hate for it. I never understood the hate that Toa had. I'm sorry. It's in my opinion. In my opinion, I don't get the hate for her. I don't. In my opinion, I like Toa. But yes, easily Moroha. I love the best of the three because I see her she's the mix of both her parents. In her own way, well, seeing more of both her powers, her own strength, and we see, let's say, more how I felt more sympathy for her, especially in episode 16, the way she was raised, being alone, all that. I just love Moroha, just like how, because, like all the things I said. Yeah, with Setsuna, yes, I how she's more of her father's personality, being more cold, like the blank cold emotional face that she gets, and being so with her she is with Toa and all that, and especially showing more of her demon powers, looking more like well, I'll talk about, but speaking of demon powers, I'll talk about the preview about that though. That happens in the next preview. That'll be in the next video about the preview, but I just don't get. I just never stood the hate for Toa. I just don't get it. But yeah, this episode had so much going for it. It was another great episode. Seeing how, like I said, with more, especially on Riku's character, how much I've been liking his character, and a little bit interesting I liked about Lord Kirimura, like in the beginning, how he basically does have honor, how he wants to fight Toga at his best, when he's weak, not when he's down. That's why he wanted Riku to give him those herbs to heal himself, so he can fight Toga at his strongest and his best. So it shows like Kirimura does have honor in him, which I liked about. And like I said, and I like how that flashback opening ties in with the beginning of the third movie. That was nice, keeping it in continuity. And like I said, it was nice to see Kyuki and Konton again, even though despite being a flashback though, because I like Kyuki, but I liked Konton the most of the four perils. But yeah, and seeing how the origins, how the 7 rainbow pearls, how they were created, like they said, from the tears of Lady Zero. And how she gave up her demon powers, basically becoming human. But like I said, how that ties in, like how she hasn't aged at all, being human, aged at all since years, so she's been the same since. So yeah, and Toa, like I said, how she looks in her human form looks a little bit better, and seeing how she basically knows who her mother really is, thanks to Kaede saying that her mother's name is Rin, and how she disappeared after giving birth. But seeing that now that she understands that the woman in the Tree of Ages, saying that that could be her mother. So I do like that little bit connection, that how she is starting to acknowledge that girl there is her mother. So yeah, there's just a lot going in this, and I like to especially with Tetsu, how he was as well as usual, and how we just like I said, how got taken out like a badass by Riku, which he was a badass as well, showing how he was capable of fighting him on his own. So yeah, there's a lot going. It was a lot happened in this episode. The same thing. Besides from episode 19, each episode's been really good and good and good, and this one is another awesome episode. Man, I'm just starting to run out of breath just talking because I'm so excited, That crap. Oh well. Nothing. Just so excited, freaking bend my nail now. Gotta cut these. But each episode's been really exciting, So, and this was another awesome episode. So everything I said about this episode has been great, especially this. So this episode was like mostly more about Riku, which that was good. So, everything I said about this episode, really good. Like, except from Riku, with more Toa's about Rin, Tetsu, and even with a little bit of the humor at the end with Tetsu. With a little bit with Kirimaru, like I said, keeping the continuity of the third movie, and everything else, like I said about it, I thought it was really good. Really great. So, yeah. Definitely give this another thumbs up for this episode. Definitely. So yes, that's my freaking long ass review. This is the longest review I've reviewed about an episode of this series. Jeez, I'm basically now 45 minutes now. Jeez. So I hope you enjoyed this long ass review of episode 21, Secret of the Rainbow Pearls. Man, but it is what it is. Since it was such an awesome episode, why not give this long review? I'm sure probably people are not gonna last until this long, so. But hey, if any of you lasted this long, good on you. Leave your comments below what you thought of this episode. So yeah, leave your comments below in this episode. Tell me what you think of it. I'm sure a lot of people are going to say that, Toa's an idiot and all that. But what she did with the Pearl, yeah. But to me, I just cannot hate her on that. I as a character herself, I cannot hate Toa, Yeah, she made made a dumb decision, yeah, of course. But is that a reason to hate the character altogether? Come on. But I'm sure people leave comments, I'm sure they're gonna hate on her anyway. Like I said, if you hate her character, fine. But I never understood the hate for her because I like Toa. But I'm sure that's gonna be some of the comments. But just beside that, leave your comments on other things why you enjoyed about the episode. So thanks for watching. Stay tuned for my talks of my discussion of the preview of episode 22 and more other videos to come. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you later. Bye.